I'm going to try and allow you to hear this beautiful music in the background. And then I'm going to tell you a story about it. This is Pharaoh Sanders. The title of the song is Let Us Go Into the House of the Lord. This came out in 1970. This, I'm going to turn it down. When I converted to Islam, this is what I was listening to. This gentleman, his music was in heavy rotation in my life. I'm going to kind of explain to you how this came about, because this is my this is when people talk about Islam, this is where I learned it from, this type of environment. So years ago, after I'd left church, I went through a period of searching, and then I got to the place where I was not sure if I even believed in God at all. As I'm going through this internal struggle in my life to understand or try to figure out, do I or do I not believe in God? Ultimately, I'm also listening to a lot of music, reading books on different types of religions, philosophies, political movements, what have you. So I developed a meditation practice because I'd been reading about it, and when I started to do it, really engage in it, I felt the benefit of it. It did give me more self-awareness. So after a period of time of meditating, one day it was as if I really got a good sense of the body that I live in with my mind. And I felt like that might be it, just it, like everything here that I could see and experience, that might be it. And then for whatever reason, I had thought about God again. Because as I was sitting there, this is not like a frightening experience, more so just relaxed and lucid. I really had a good look at my life and my situation. So with that thought of there might not be any God, I felt the limitation like a glass ceiling, like you hit the top. I like a lot of music and art and creativity, so if you like art and creativity, that might make sense to you. At some point you're done with something and you have to move on to something else, or you've exhausted this mode of expression, what have you. Sometimes you reach limits. So then as I introduced the thought of God back into my life as part of a integration of this idea, for me it felt like another door opened, and then lo and behold, there's so much more in me to see, correct, explore, and realize outside of me. So that was the time when I reaffirmed that I believed in God. Around this, there's so much going on. There's yoga going on. I'm doing everything. But at the same time, I stumbled across this book. I believe it's called Abraham's Legacy. Gentleman's last name is Alamin. But they explained, in the book he explains how you can look at natural phenomenon and determine that there is some higher intelligence that is moving and coordinating and assisting in this experience that we have. And he built from that basic concept to a way to give expression to the realization of this broader, higher intelligence and incorporate it into your life. This is religion, this is what Jesus taught, etc. But for me, who I'd closed the door so far, and yet to gain enough awareness to see my own limitations and how this affected me versus what I could go on and do if I would acknowledge this higher power. That was God. But that's how it was a Muslim book, but it was explained in such a simple way where I could respect my rational principle or element of my life and still trust in the fact that all of the information, all of the truth I discover would still affirm that basic reality of God. It was a good way for me to untie a knot that I'd already felt. The gentleman who wrote this book was a black gentleman, Muslim gentleman. I don't remember all of his details, but he was steeped inside of a black Islamic American culture that a lot of jazz musicians came out of. So as I study, gather all this research and music, there's this strain of Islam within jazz music. Some of the gentlemen who produce it, their life stories were fascinating. And then their own struggles to come to their own sense of humanity, and then the way they gave expression to their faith, it blew my mind that there were people out there living their everyday life and in finding ways to praise God with their life, their instruments, their productivity. So this is one of these gentlemen, Pharaoh Sanders. His history, from what I knew, it's phenomenal. And so many people around him that he was around that were Muslim. The process by which they came to their belief in God or acceptance of Islam had so many artistic ramifications that we can listen to and read and go and see, that when I converted, it was at a time when once I saw the potential of believing in God, then the individuals that I was around who gave me the best insight in how I can go about giving expression to this belief in a way that's more life-affirming, healthy, proactive, disciplined, loving, compassionate. It was predominantly black American Muslim culture, I think, that helped me find that expression. So I bring that up to say that I think I'm answering the question people ask me why I converted. The individuals that I was encountering that were practicing Islam were so creative, so artistically creative, so intellectually stimulated, so culturally active and aware, that it was just a beautiful fit. And I don't think that, me personally, I realize now, I do not give Christianity, broad Christianity, its respect that is due, because the same beauty comes out of there. And my own hurt would not permit me to see that at that time. At the same time, I think that answers the question when I've tried to explain to people why I did convert to Islam, because at that time in my life, it wasn't so much about not wanting to go to hell. It's that this was one place where I think that I could really be taught what it was to be a human, and then just the basic human potential. The belief that God has made us in such a way that the innate potential can be activated by belief in God. It made human experience glorious, beautiful, and now it's my job to purify my own behaviors so that beauty, innate God-given beauty, can just shine and project and do what it is supposed to do, just affirm life.